Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 5, and in this video we're going to be doing an example using specific identification to deal with inventory costing. I'm going to show you how I normally do it based on the information that's given and the way it's provided. It just made sense to me. I've always had to find different ways to figure things out to where it made sense to me and kind of different processes in order to figure them out. And so I'm going to show you mine. This may not work for you, but it kind of gets to the point across. Hopefully it'll help you a little bit in understanding this. So we're going to be dealing with Delta Company. And Delta Company has the following beginning inventory and purchases and sales for the year, and it gives it to us. And then it says, based on Delta's records, we know that of the 29 units sold, 6 of them came from the inventory that was already there at the beginning. 12 of them came from the inventory that was purchased on April 15th, and 11 of them came from the inventory purchased on October 10th. Now, it's important for you to understand that that's what makes specific identification what it is we know exactly where they came from. What we sold, we know exactly what batch they came from and how much they cost us. So that paragraph for this problem is super important. And then ask us to compute the total cost of goods sold, the gross profit, and the ending inventory. We're also going to do the journal entries for this. So let's begin. So 1-1, it says the beginning inventory, we had 9 already in-house. That those 9 cost us $25 a piece. Now, we're not going to do a journal entry for that because they're already in our warehouse. They're beginning inventory. And remember, we do not do journal entries for beginning amounts. We only do it for the additions of. So now we're going to move to April 15th, where we had our first purchase of the year, and it was for 16 units at $27 a piece. So if we multiply that out, 16 times the 27, that's going to give us 432. And so now we know how much it cost us in total. We can do our journal entry. So 415, we increased our inventory by $432, and we decreased cash because that's how we paid for it for 432 as well. That takes care of that date. Now we go to October 10th, where we had another purchase of 22 units at $30 a piece. And so if we multiply that again, that's going to give us 660. So it lets us know how much our inventory is worth. So we can do our journal entry. So 1010, our inventory goes up by 660. And then we're going to credit cash because our cash goes down by 660. All right, that takes care of that one. Now we get to December 20th. Now this is our sell. We've sold the inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by getting my journal entry ready. I know what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to put 2020. I'm going to put cash and sales revenue. And then I'm also going to go ahead and put cost of goods sold and inventory. That's my 2-part. So now we can go and calculate our sales revenue. In order to do that, we just need to know how much we sold and what we sold it for. So we have sold 29 units, and those 29 units we sold at $50 a piece. So if we multiply that out, that's going to give me a total sales revenue of $1,450. So I can go ahead and put that into my journal entries. So $1,450 next to cash and sales revenue. Next, I have to calculate my cost of goods sold. In order to do that, I need to know how much each of the units that I sold cost me. Not what I sold them at, but what they cost me. So in order to do that, I need to know how many I actually have to expense. I used 29, so I have to expense 29. Now again, we're doing specific identification, so we know exactly where those 29 units came from. So starting with the first one, it says that we knew that 6 units came from the inventory at the very beginning. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to say I'm going to expense 6 units, and those 6 units were at $25 a piece. So if I multiply that out, that's going to give me a total of $150. Now before I move on to the next number, I'm going to go ahead and clean up some stuff, because if you look at the top problem, I don't have 9 at 25 in my beginning inventory anymore because I took 6 of them out. So I'm going to put a little slash and tell myself, okay, I still have 3 of those left. Okay, again, I'm just setting myself up for later on in the problem as well. All right, so the next one is I know we sold 12 out of the April batch. So I'll take 12, and those 12 cost me $27 a piece. Multiply that out, that's going to be $324. Again, I know I don't have 6 anymore at the top of the, or 16 anymore at the top of the problem. I'm going to just take, slash that out. I have 4 remaining. If I had 16, I sold 12 of them. I have 4 remaining. All right, And I also know that 11 of them came from the October batch. So 11, those 11 cost me $30 a piece. So multiply that out, that's going to give me $330. Again, I'm going to put a little slash mark across 22 because I don't have 22 anymore. I now have 11 because I sold 11 of them. So now I'm cleaned up at the top as well. I can add up those three numbers at the bottom, the 150, the 324, and the 330, and that is going to give me a total of 804, and that is my total COGS for this sale. That's what it cost me to sell those 29. So I can put that into the journal entry, COGS of 804 and inventory of 804. And now I can finish up the problem. It asks us to compute the cost of goods sold, which we did. Cost of goods sold was 804. It also asks us to compute the gross profit, and we know gross profit equals sales revenue minus COGS. And so we just put the numbers in there. So our sales revenue was $1450, COGS was 804. Subtract the two, that's going to give me a gross profit of 646. That's my gross profit. The last thing I want to do is find out what my ending inventory is going to be. My ending inventory is what I still have left in the warehouse. And that's why I cleaned up that top piece. I still have an ending inventory 3 at $25. That gives me $75. I have 4 at $27. Multiply that out, that's going to give me 108. And then 11 at $30. That's going to give me 330. If I add all that up, that's going to give me an ending inventory balance of 513. So that's how you do a problem dealing with specific identification when you have all your purchases at one time and then the sale at the very end. Hopefully that made sense to you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Y'all take care.